Every app you use juggles waiting, file reads, network calls, database queries. Synchronous and asynchronous code handle that waiting in completely different ways. Imagine ordering coffee. In a synchronous world, the barista takes your order then stands completely still, staring at the espresso machine until your cup is ready. No other customer gets served in the meantime. That is exactly what synchronous code does. It runs one instruction at a time, and when it hits something slow like a network request or a disk read, the entire program stops and waits. Nothing else happens until that one operation finishes. Asynchronous code takes the opposite approach. The barista takes your order, starts the machine, and immediately turns to the next customer while the espresso brews in the background. When it's ready, they come back to it. Most modern software, web servers, browsers, mobile apps leans heavily on this second model because sitting idle is wasted time. Synchronous execution follows a single call stack, one frame at a time. When your code calls a function, that function must fully return before the next line runs. If that function makes a network request, the entire thread parks, the CPU sits idle, other work queues up behind it, and your interface can freeze if this happens on a UI thread. This is simple to reason about. Code executes top to bottom in the exact order it's written, so debugging usually means reading straight down the stack trace. That simplicity is real value. For short, predictable operations like adding two numbers or reading a small in-memory array, synchronous code is both fast and easy to trust. The problems start when an operation's duration is unpredictable, a slow database, a flaky API, a large file. Then that one blocking call can stall everything behind it. Asynchronous execution lets a slow operation run in the background while the program moves on to other work. Instead of blocking, the code registers what should happen when the result is ready, a callback, a promise, or in modern syntax an awaited function, and immediately continues to the next line. The operating system or runtime keeps track of that pending work and notifies the program once it completes. This means a single thread can juggle thousands of in-flight network requests without ever sitting idle, which is exactly why web servers built this way can serve so many users at once on modest hardware. The trade-off is complexity. Execution order is no longer just top to bottom, so you have to think in terms of events and completions rather than one continuous story, and that shift is often the hardest part of learning asynchronous programming. Here's the mechanism that makes asynchronous code actually work: the event loop. Your program has one call stack for running code right now and a task queue holding work that's ready to resume. When an asynchronous operation like a network request finishes, its callback doesn't jump straight into the stack, it gets placed in the queue. The event loop's entire job is simple: check if the call stack is empty, and if it is, pull the next task off the queue and run it. This keeps repeating for the life of the program. Because there's only one call stack, only one piece of your code ever runs at a literal instant. Concurrency here comes from interleaving many waiting tasks, not from true parallel execution. That's why a single slow synchronous chunk of code can still block the entire event loop, even in an otherwise asynchronous program. Asynchronous code has gone through 3 generations of syntax, and each one fixed a real problem. First came callbacks: pass a function to be run later when the result arrives. Nest a few of these inside each other, one waiting on the next, and you get what developers call callback hell, deeply indented code that's brutal to read and even worse to debug. Promises fixed the nesting by giving each asynchronous operation an object representing a future value, one that could be chained with dot, then instead of nested inside another function. The newest generation, async and await, lets you write asynchronous code that reads almost exactly like synchronous code, line by line, top to bottom, while the runtime still handles everything non-blocking underneath. It's the same event loop the entire time, only the syntax describing it has gotten easier for humans to follow. Picture 3 requests arriving one after another: a network call, a database query, and a file read, each taking 1 second. Run them synchronously and the total time is the sum of all 3 seconds guaranteed, because each one waits for the last to finish before starting. Run them asynchronously and you can kick off all 3 at once. Since they're mostly waiting on external systems anyway, the total time collapses to roughly 1 second, whichever operation takes longest. That gap is the entire reason asynchronous programming exists. It doesn't make any single operation faster. A network call still takes exactly as long to travel over the wire. What it changes is how much useful work your program can overlap while that waiting happens, which is why the benefit grows as the number of concurrent operations increases. These aren't abstract choices, they show up constantly in real systems. A Node.js web server handling 10,000 simultaneous connections relies entirely on asynchronous I/O. A synchronous version would need 10,000 threads and would fall over under the memory cost alone. Python's asyncio library exists for the same reason, powering high-throughput API services with a single thread. On the other end, a synchronous script that resizes a batch of images or crunches a spreadsheet of numbers gains nothing from asynchronous code. There's no waiting to hide, only raw computation, so the simpler synchronous version is often faster and always easier to read. Even your browser mixes both constantly. Fetching data from a server is asynchronous so the page stays responsive, while calculating a layout on the page itself happens synchronously because it has to finish before the next frame can be drawn. So which one should you reach for? Synchronous code wins for CPU-bound work, tight loops, math, image processing where there's no waiting to overlap, only computation to finish, and the extra machinery of callbacks and promises just adds overhead. Asynchronous code wins for I/O-bound work, anything touching a network, a disk, or another service, where most of the time really is spent waiting, and that waiting can be shared across many tasks at once. The most common bug in async code is accidentally blocking the event loop with a heavy synchronous operation, freezing every other pending task along with it. The most common bug in sync code is simply not scaling, as each new slow operation adds directly to total wait time. Understanding both models and knowing which one your problem actually needs is one of the most practical skills in software engineering. Thanks for watching.